Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we'll be doing a box office preview for this upcoming weekend, which sees the new film The Lost City from Paramount coming out and is projected to come out in the #1 spot. We of course will be following that, as there is, I think, a pretty fair chance that the Batman could actually take the #1 spot once again if The Lost City underperforms, but we'll have to, of course, wait for those numbers to actually come in. And at this point, the projections are saying The Lost City will come in at #1, whereas another new film, RRR Rise, War, Revolt, which is a independent film, it looks like, is set to come into #3, Uncharted #4, and Jujutsu Kaisen in its second weekend of release coming in the top 5. So before going any further into these numbers, please make sure you smash that like button, not that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. So The Lost City is expected from Paramount to make $30 million, coming out at over 4,000 screens. Not really all that large of a number when you compare it to other films, especially films that have been released at that number of theaters. As you can see, the range on that movie is between $24 and $34 million, and so this movie could very well come underneath that $24 million number. This film also, not only starring the people like Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, is a film that we have a budget for. It's around $68 to $74 million as far as a budget is concerned, meaning that the film needs to make quite a bit of money in order for it to make its money back. And unless it's able to continue, or rather able to make a pretty decent amount of money overseas in comparison to its domestic number, or at least its projected domestic number, things are not necessarily looking that great for it. It is interesting because we don't have, in this situation, a projection, because this is just for the weekend, of what they expect the film to make in the long term. If you wanted to have that, we go to the box office and forecasting. Let's see if we can get that number here, so that way we can have a better idea about how much money this film is expected to make. So it's only expected to make between $51 and $84 million by the end of its run. Obviously, this was back when it was projected to make 17 to 27 million. So as you can see, their early projections were off. They have since upped those projections to be towards the higher end, which would include around, the $30 million number that they are giving us now. So take that with a grain of salt. This number could be higher, could be lower, which would also include their domestic total, but they are projecting that the film will make less than $100 million by the end of its run. And with a film that costs $74 million, remember, 2.5 times that budget is going to be the break-even number, so it does still need to make quite a bit. Now, one could argue that Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, Brad Pitt might be able to bring some people out there. There have been some reports from Deadline, at least, saying how they expect this to be a very strong female demographic audience going to see it. It's not going to be because of Sandra Bullock. It's going to be because of Channing Tatum and Daniel Radcliffe and Brad Pitt. However, will that be enough? It still remains to be seen. I don't know. I just look at this poster and I think this looks like such a generic action film, forgettable, really should be released in January movie. So I don't really expect a whole lot from this as far as the box office is concerned. The Batman, on the other hand, from Warner Brothers, expected to make another $21 million, a 43% drop now in its 4th or 5th week of release. So still holding on strong. Expected to be at $332 million domestically. Uncharted still hanging around as well, at $5.8 million for the weekend, going up to $134.4 million. And then Jujutsu Kaisen actually having a much steeper drop than I would have projected, still being at over 2,000 screens, and this is projected to make around $4.8 million, bringing its domestic to 27.7. But as I mentioned previously, this film has already made a ton of money overseas, as it had its initial release in Japan, and these films typically do not cost a whole lot of money. We still don't have an actual production budget for this film, but if we compare this to Demon Slayer, which had a sub $15 million production budget, we can assume that this film has already made its money back, and all of this is just extra profit to boot. The film dog also sticking around as well. Another 30% drop, $2.8 million. Spider-Man No Way Home still hanging around, as expected to indeed this weekend, as I said it would, make $2.3 million and finally cross the $800 million mark in the domestic box office. So a huge milestone for that film. Again, pandemic breaker to say the very least. We, of course, will also get to see how close it gets to and if it is able to surpass the $1.9 billion mark, which again would be incredibly impressive. The film X is hanging around as well with a 52% drop. Sing 2 also hanging around, Death on the Nile hanging around as well. So we'll have some projections for some films in their second weekend of release this weekend. But of course, the big news is going to be whether or not Lost City is able to capture the imaginations of the audiences and to be able to have a strong enough opening to over time make its money back, which at this point in time, depending on how the film opens up overseas, it does have some people in there like Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock that might play well in some other markets, but that still remains to be seen. The Batman is over $600 million here worldwide, so definitely looking very strong. However, as I mentioned previously, did not do as well as it was expected to in China, with many of the theaters in China being closed, being one of the excuses being given. Also, I just don't think this is playing nearly as well in that demographic. Spider-Man No Way Home right now at $1.8 billion. So having this cross the $800 million mark, I suspect that we could see this film cross $1.9 billion or get incredibly close. So if not this weekend, next weekend for sure, we'll have crossed the $1.9 billion mark. But anyway, that is our box office projections for the weekend. So what are y'all's thoughts? Do you think The Lost City is going to make any money? Are you excited to see The Lost City? It just seems like a forgettable film to me based off of the trailers. It's interesting that Paramount is putting it out at over 4,000 screens. Just doesn't really seem like that kind of movie, or that it would play like that kind of a movie. What are your thoughts about that? And also, what are y'all's thoughts about Spider-Man No Way Home getting to the $800 million mark, and any of the other films that I mentioned? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, make sure that you vote in this year's Wednesday Raven Awards, as nominations will be closed off very, very soon, as the Oscars are this weekend, and we are boycotting the Oscars because they are political woke garbage. Go ahead and get those votes in. Check out my website, ombreviews.com, and go ahead and fill out your ballot. Again, ombreviews.com. Head over to the Raven Awards, click on 2021 Raven Awards, and boom, you'll have the nominees listed in a nice little format here. And then the little link right here, you click on that, you put in your vote, and vote in this year's Raven Awards. And we'll, of course, be following these box office numbers as they come out this weekend. And maybe I'll see The Lost City. I don't really think I really want to. There's other films I think I'd rather go see at this point. But we'll, of course, see what's actually playing at my theaters and if it's playing at good times. Anyway, you guys have an amazing, beautiful day. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my March Patreon Subscribe and Locals members. Starting off first with my Patreon members, animation commentator Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Fuzz Aldrin, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymason, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura, The Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Chat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Rosetta Allen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and, of course, Tina B., the Empress of the Universe. Also, shout out to my Subscribe Star members, starting off with Trent Johnson, Matt317, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Storm Tracker, The R, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stan 4, John B., Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. And a final shout out to my Locals members, Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, and Robert Barnes. And lastly, a huge shout out to my newest Locals member, Brett D90. Thanks, man. Thank you all so very much for being supporters, monthly supporters of the channel. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream and every single video, please check out the pinned, the very top link in the video description. It is noted as the Willow link there. It'll bring you to basically a link tree of all the different places that you can support on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals. And also there are other tiers that you can get access to as well, including an Army of Asgard level where you get not only the shout out, but you also get access to a giveaways channel that I have on my Discord, where you get offers of giveaways, or rather you get access to giveaways of 4K titles, Blu-rays, digital codes, all kinds of stuff, steelbooks. It's just, I'm giving away stuff all the time over there, and it's a lot of fun as well. So go check that out if you're interested. There's also the Keeper of the Bifrost level, which is the higher level up than that, and you get everything from the previous tiers. Plus, you get access to a once or twice a month podcast that I do with John the Flickpick Flickinger, where you get to ask us Q&A, right? You get to ask us questions, any question that you like, movie or non-movie related. We will answer them once, maybe twice a month. We're trying to work on a second opportunity for us to have a show, but right now it's at least once a month. So again, you get access with that with the Keep of the Bifrost level. And then there is the Chosen of Valhalla level, the very premium level, where you get access to all of those things. Plus, you get to be featured on the channel once a month with me and the other Chosen members, where we talk about movies and stuff. Anything really that the Chosen want to talk about. And it's always a very fun discussion. We usually have about 3.5 hour discussion. So again, that's what you get access to at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Also, you get a free t-shirt during your first month. All you need to do is just let me know what t-shirt you want from the store, and also their size, location, etc. And I send those out anywhere in the world. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you all so very much again for your love and for your support. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.